Hello, I'm back again. This time, doing a follow-up to my 6 months in Malaysia video that I did last year. This one's going to be a whole year. Well, a year and a bit that I've been in Malaysia. So it'll be interesting to look back and then to answer the same questions and to look at new questions since now I've been living there for a whole year. So yeah, let's jump right into it. So the first question, have my views changed since the last video, 6 months in Malaysia? I would say yes. For the most part, yes. My views have changed. Things that I probably didn't like so much or didn't understand and now understand and kind of like them. I guess it's getting there. I would say, yeah, just living and breathing as Malaysians do, understanding the day-to-day, understanding other people, and just understanding Malaysia as a whole is really giving me a good balance on my outlook on Malaysia. It's really giving me something to think about, to look back on, and to understand how Malaysia works. So I would say, yeah, for the most part, my views have changed naturally as you live in a new country or a new place for a certain amount of time. Yes, I do have a job. I didn't actually realize, or I didn't know how difficult it was going to be to get a job as a foreigner. Not to say that I thought it was going to be easy, but just thinking about the process, understanding how much skills I have and how much work I've done, that's on my CV or my resume, I would think that people will look for skills rather than anything else. However, that's not been the case. Now, I could be wrong. And the reason why I say that is because I have more than likely applied for about 300 jobs since I got here. It could be a bit low or a bit high, depending on how you want to look at it. But since I've applied, I think I've only really had about 10 people get back to me, which is really, really something. It really does bring me back to the time when I first started looking for a job back home in the UK. It did take a long time. Now, as I've been working for how many years now, and I've accumulated a lot of experience and a lot of skills through the different jobs that I've been in, one would think because I have this experience and the skills, you would think, yes, this guy, he's more than likely to be able to get a job. That's not the case over in here. But it could just be me as I'm looking at it more as a skill-based and experience-based rather than anything else. So that is something that I didn't really think it was going to be difficult. However, I did get told by some friends of mine, one in particular he's been living in Malaysia for 10 years. It took him about 1.5 years before he can actually get a job, which is, that's a long time to think about it. Just like me, he was just living on savings that he saved before he came over here. So yeah, that's put it a lot more into perspective. Funny enough, every time I talk to Malaysians, or especially when they ask me about something, or I talk to families, they say slowly, one step at a time, one step at a time. So I guess they know how difficult it would be. Fun fact, through this, I've learned that no is not a word that Malaysians like to use. To give you context, they would rather not say anything at all than to say no. And I've experienced this, especially with jobs, callbacks, trying to get people to answer back to you. It's just been a flat out no reply. And as Malaysians say, no answer is an answer. That for me was a little bit infuriating and annoying because I would just like some feedback, or I just like, confirmation that, no, we don't want you. But other than that, yeah, there's something that I've been learning and making sure I don't take to heart. I'm saying I do, but it can be a little rough sometimes. So yes, I do have a job. I have a job as a content writer, which I'm enjoying for the most part. I'm looking for more jobs, something just to work my way up. Speaking of which, I have done my acting and my music over here. I released a new single, and I've been doing acting jobs here and there. I see that acting here is very, very difficult. I'm not really entirely sure as to why, but it does seem really difficult when it comes to acting. I'm not quite sure what the infrastructure is like over here, but I can see that it's vastly different from from the west side of the world. I did touch on this in the previous question, but just to touch on it more, since it is for this question, yeah, I think it's quite difficult. I think if you come over here as a foreigner and you don't have a company that wants you to work over here, then yeah, it will be very difficult in order for you to get a job. I'm not entirely as to sure why. A part of me does think that it could be they don't want foreigners. I could be wrong. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Or they're looking for more local base, which I've seen they seem to really want people from, well, just locals really, people from Malaysia, not foreigners, which I understand, absolutely. But it doesn't really bode well for foreigners who want to work here. We've come over here for whatever reason, obviously legitimate reasons, but for whatever reason they come over here and they want to work or want to earn a living. Now, I do have to say, during my time looking for a job, I did notice that, and I was told that the lowest income you can get per month is 1,500 ringgit per month, which isn't a lot. It may sound like a lot, but it's not. And I was really baffled as to why this is the lowest, and because it's not like you can do much with that amount of money. They really put things into perspective as well. Not only that, my wife, every time I look for a job and she's over my shoulder watching, looking at what I'm applying for, she's like, don't do that. No. The work culture over here, I was going to say, it's quite similar, but more relaxed than Japan. In terms of, they will want you to work long hours for minimal pay. I'm not Malay. I have Malay blood, but I'm not Malay by nationality. That's really low. I don't think that's good at all. Especially when I see people, and I talk to other Malays, yeah, they really don't like it. Like, it seems to just be work, home. And when I mean home, I mean sleep. Don't really get time to interact with your family that much, apart from the weekend. But yeah, this is something for me to think about and for others to think about as well. Maybe, inshallah, with the new government that Malaysia has, can be improved. See how or what improvements they implement when it comes to working in Malaysia for Malaysians. Not as foreigner, but for Malaysia. As a foreigner now, yeah, there's not much you can do with 1,500 ringgit, and that's just the base. But that's 6 days a week, long hours. That doesn't really cut it. And I understand as to why my wife, she wants to move back to the UK after working in the UK and see what the work ethic there is like. It's more work balanced. Yeah, I can see why. Now, even though I said what I said before, it doesn't mean that all companies are like this. I've seen many companies that are trying to integrate their work-life balance, and it works. You can see that it works. It's just unfortunate that not every single company or a majority of companies in Malaysia have not done the same thing. But as I said, there's always room for improvement. We get to see what the current new government will do for Malaysia. For the most part, not quite. It's still pretty much the same. Maybe becoming a little bit more balanced as I go on and live in Malaysia and get to experience Malaysia far more. I would have to say, yeah, there's not really been much that I've seen has tipped the scales. It's pretty much stayed a solid standard, like dislike. It's getting close to the middle. Still some gripes I don't like that just get to me. As I said, from 6 months ago, it's improved a hell of a lot. My outlook and understanding, and just answering general questions. Yeah. So, to answer that question, kind of. Nope. I'll be honest with you, I do not miss London. I was talking to my friend the other day and he was asking me, do you miss London? I said, I miss things from London. I don't miss London as a whole. And especially as I look at the news and from what people, family and friends are telling me about London right now, it doesn't look like a place that anyone would want to go to live or maybe to work, but to live, way too expensive now. And it has made me question, would like to go back there? Yeah, that's something that I'm still trying to figure out. And my wife as well, for that matter. Alia, she's still trying to figure that out. Is it something that she wants to do or go back to? But I know her heart is absolutely dedicated to going back. Now, we didn't say that we'll go back. That's what I did, obviously. Allahu Alam. We don't know what Allah's plan is. But If we do end up going back, then we do go back. If not, then we just stay here, do what we need to do, and then go from there. So it's dead. The idea is dead. The plan is dead. Going back, I don't miss London. As I said, I miss things from London. A number of them. One, I miss what? Yeah, I miss Caribbean food. Public transport, yeah. Compared to over here, public transport in the UK, well, London, far superior. I don't know what the situation is over here, but yeah, I can understand why people are more likely to drive and to ride into work or into anywhere for that matter. I can fully understand that. Walking, I do miss walking. I've noticed here, I have to do far more in the gym when it comes to walking or cardio than back home, because everyone just doesn't walk here. One, probably because of the weather, it's too hot. Two, it's not really pedestrian friendly. So I'm like, okay, I can understand why people would just rather drive everywhere. That makes a lot of sense to me. Most definitely. As I continue to integrate myself within Malaysia, speak to Malaysians, live how Malaysians live, yeah, of course, I'll start to understand and have my views changed the longer I live here. That's for sure. I do think that will happen. Do I think my dislikes will change? Maybe they might become more balanced. So maybe they might actually invert as to what my previous skill was. So, yeah, I guess they will change in the future. I would also like to give some tips to anyone who is planning to come to Malaysia to live. Make sure you do your homework before you come. I know that sounds pretty obvious. However, yeah, it can be easy to slip up and not do that. The reason why I say this is because Malaysia seems to have a very relaxed way of doing things, especially when it comes to immigration. Yeah, expect yourself to probably be at immigration throughout the whole day. As my friend said, if you do not come or if you do not go to the immigration office in KL before 9 o'clock, expect to be there the whole day. And yeah, I can attest to that. You can be there the whole day. It doesn't matter if you got there early. It doesn't matter if you get there at 9 o'clock. You run by their time. If you're looking to come here for work, it's probably better for you to talk about or search for work prior to you coming here. Have a company come and hire you before actually coming out here to get a job. Unless you know someone that works here or lives here, fine, fair enough. Maybe they can help you with that. But for the most part, yeah, it's probably better for you to get like a work endorsement for you to come and work over here in order for it to make it be livable. When it comes to the culture, the people, religions, yeah, do your homework there. Malaysian people, for the most part, they're very, very nice, very relaxed, very chilled. They're more than likely to help you. Just don't cross it. Yeah, and just enjoy yourself. Just enjoy yourself. Don't take the mic. Just be respectful. Yeah, man. Just be respectful. So I would say that's it. It's a lot shorter than my 6 months one. It's because there's a lot more that I've processed and understood, and I try to not make it too long. Just try to make it like bite-sized, just for people to watch and so yeah, that's it. My whole year in Malaysia, I've enjoyed it. I have to say, the more I lived here, the more I like it, and the more I don't want to go back. Hey man, I hope you enjoy it. Maybe I might do 2 years in Malaysia and see how that goes. I don't know. I'll ask Arlie and see what she says. But for now, that's been me, guys. We out here. See you.